All right, so if you're wondering how to survive a brutal contest diet or even any brutal diet where you're trying to get into just absolutely supreme condition, stay tuned. I'm going to show you some of my little tricks on how to survive that kind of diet. I want to know, what are some of your tips and tricks on how to survive a brutal contest diet or any brutal diet for that matter? Comment below and let me know. All right, so for those of you who compete, or maybe you don't compete, but you've still undertaken a really brutal diet to try to get down to maybe a really low body fat level, this video is for you. I want to, or even those of you who just struggle staying on a diet, really it's for you too. So what are some of the things that you can do to help make a diet survivable? Now, I know that diet's kind of a bad word these days, and people say you have to make it a lifestyle so that it's never that difficult. And I'm okay with that. But sometimes, you know, particularly like a high-level bodybuilder or physique competitor, a female figure competitor, for instance, or somebody who's really trying to get in a great shape for a wedding, or I even get inquiries sometimes from people who want to look awesome for their high school reunions or 20-year reunions and things like that. So what are some of the things you can do to make that a little more doable? So I've got some tricks I'm going to show you. My first one I'm going to show you is you find this in coffee shops generally, but you can find it in grocery stores too. But it's sugar-free syrups. And this one is a salted caramel, and this is awesome. So how would I use this? You can put this in plain protein powder. You can put it in oatmeal. Generally what I put it in is oatmeal when I'm using oatmeal. It just makes oatmeal taste phenomenal. You can be creative though. There's all kinds of things you can do with it. It's Splenda based, so it's sucralose based. This one's a salted caramel. I also use a vanilla bean. Just really tasty. I like these a lot. Another thing you may have seen me use in cream of rice and oatmeal is my sugar-free Hershey syrup. I love this stuff. It also, a lot of the sweetener comes from erythritol. Erythritol is really good for a number of reasons. It causes very, very, very little impact to your blood sugar. In fact, they say it's a zero glycemic index carb. You know, whether it is or it isn't, it's still, we know it's low. Very little insulin response, if any. It's also only about 0.2 calories per gram is what you typically see. So you would have to use a lot of this to have any kind of significant calories. It's also the sweetener that I put in my BHB salts, the Keto Factor supplement I use, because I think it's just, in terms of gastric distress, it's your best option. I mean, you'd have to drink a lot of this to cause gastric distress, whereas some of the other fake sugars can really tear up your stomach. I'm sure a lot of you have had food bars out there to tear up your stomach, and it's partly because of that. So again, I like this on cream of rice and also oatmeal. Now, for those of you who like sodas, Diet Sunkist. This stuff tastes phenomenal. The colder the better. Put it over ice. Now, this is sweetened with aspartame, so some people have a little bit of a reaction to aspartame, but if you don't, this is a great choice. I love Diet Sunkist. You know, some people will say, well, you can still get an insulin release from this, and it can, you know, cause fat burning to be difficult. I would say that if that is true, if it's true, the magnitude of the insulin response and the duration of the insulin response would be insignificant. I just honestly can't see people not being able to burn fat on something that's 0 calories. Just my worldview on that. So let's say you don't want a soda for whatever reason. How about water? Mandarin orange sparkling seltzer water. One of my favorites. I love this stuff. It gives you kind of a full feeling, so it's a little easier to stick to your diet as well, but I really, really enjoy this flavored water. Mandarin orange, sparkling seltzer water. I also like the black cherry flavors. I think those are really good too. Now, those of you who are familiar with some of my diets in the past know that I tend to use this a lot. Reduced sugar ketchup. My favorite thing to put this on is egg whites and red potatoes. When I was getting ready for the Arnold Classic a couple years ago, it seemed like all my meals were red potatoes and egg whites, and then gradually the red potatoes disappeared and I felt like I was eating egg whites. Egg whites was my life. But I always use a little bit of this. You know, this is very low calorie. So 1 tablespoon has 1 gram of carb. So again, and they actually use sucralose in this too. So this can be a lifesaver. Put some on your potatoes, put some on your egg whites. Man, it can be a lifesaver. Another thing I really, really like is gluten-free Szechuan sauce. Now, I like this on beef and rice mixes, or just on chicken and rice mixes, or just chicken or just beef. But mainly like meat and rice dishes is where I really like this. And this is another one that's, you know, they put 5 calories on the label. Very, very low calories. Very low calories. And it has a really good spice to it. So if you like to kind of get heated up, this is really good as well. Another one of my favorites. Now, in terms of spices themselves, I found a company that you've probably heard of, Flavor God. I'm not affiliated with these guys in any manner, but they have really good flavoring. This is a chipotle one. I like the chipotle on the quesadillas that you've probably seen me eat. I've done a few videos on the quesadillas. They also have a great one that's pizza. Here's one, Himalayan salt and pink peppercorn. This one's really good too. I actually have a cabinet with about 50 of these, or I don't know about 50, but there's a minimum of 20 of these flavors. And look at this one, even chocolate donut. So these guys do a really, really nice job on their flavoring. Now, if you're into really hard spices, here's another cool one. Lola's Carolina Reaper Fine Hot Sauce. This is another very low calorie one. In fact, it has 0 calories. And this will fire you up. So, and the number 1 ingredient in this is red jalapeno puree. So you can be sure that this is going to fire you up. You know what I like to use this on is fish, particularly cod. It's good on chicken, it's good on beef, but for some reason I've just always liked really spicy stuff on my fish meals. I tend to gravitate more toward cod, wild cod for my fish. And my last thing here, you can't go wrong with mustard. I like this one, Sandwich Pal, sweet and spicy mustard. 1 gram of carbs, says 10 calories on it, but this I like on chicken primarily. So you can put mustard on your chicken, ketchup on your egg whites, you can put the syrup on your oatmeal and your cream of rice, you can put beef, or the Szechuan sauce on your beef and rice, you can put the Lola's on your fish. If you want any more spices, the Flavor God spices, and you can drink seltzer water, Diet Sunkist, and again, for your protein shakes or oatmeal, the sugar-free coffee syrup. So there, let's say you did that, all of that, every single day. I wouldn't recommend you do that for a long period of time, but you're probably going to get no more than 30 or 40 calories if you use all these. That's not much. I mean, you can burn that in, 15 minutes of working hard. So, and again, it makes your diet doable. And listen, I'm from the old school where we ate tuna, and that was our primary protein source. And we ate generally potatoes or rice or something like that. And that was great. That was great. But there are ways to survive and make your diet much more tasty. So try these as well. Let me know what you think. And also, as I mentioned earlier, what are some of the things that you do that we can all learn from and make our diets easier? Thanks for watching and have a great day.